Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network, and welcome back to the summer series of interviews here. Obviously, you know there's no broadcasting going on right now at the high school level anyway, so we are bringing in student athletes, coaches, athletic directors, anybody who wants to come sit in the seat and talk to us about what's going on in the world of sports right here in Brevard County and beyond. And, well, we've kind of started the summer off with one theme. We had Coach Graves in the other day, and we stayed with the theme of track and field. And today, my guest is a man that I absolutely just love talking to. He is in various Hall of Fames, and coming up here in a couple of weeks, actually, he is going to be heading out. I'm not sure where he's going. We'll have him tell him. But he is a candidate for the National High School Athletic Association Boys Track and Field Coach of the Year. Please help me welcome here my man, Doug Butler. How are you, Coach?
Good. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Caleb.
Always good to have you here in studio. So, what do you got before we talk track and field, and what do you got coming up this summer? Tell us about this candidate, this award.
Okay, so I head to Lincoln, Nebraska next month. They have coaches, all different sports. It's a National High School Athletic Coaches Association annual convention. Lincoln, Nebraska. I was a finalist about 4 years ago for the cross country Coach of the Year. This time I'm a finalist for the Track Coach of the Year. 8 finalists, and they'll announce it, I think, the 27th of July. But it's not a tourist attraction there in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right. No.
But it's always a good time, and you get to hear from some great coaches. And I'm a finalist for probably a couple reasons. Is the hosting the AAU Nationals 2 years ago.
Did a hell of a job of that.
That was a big thing. So
And that was tough because that's still coming out of COVID.
that was, and
Yeah.
Rusty Buchanan was the big
Yeah.
player behind bringing that to satellite. TJ Gowdy, Principal Pruitt, they were big supporters there. So, and we pulled it off superbly.
Yes.
Satellite Police, Satellite City Council, everybody on board over there was great for the community.
I don't think people understand, going back to that event, that was an event that was originally scheduled to be held, I believe, in Virginia Beach, and it had to be moved
Correct.
here, and they held a big press conference here in Brevard County. We actually attended that, and you guys did a terrific job with that, Coach.
It was great.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Coach, you've, coached now for 20, I think you just finished, your 24th season?
23rd, starting
23rd
24 right
season,
now. Yep.
24 next year. Coach, what's the game plan? I mean, you are now coaching for as many years as state championships as you have. What's the game plan for you moving forward?
If we don't win one more before I quit next year, my son better find a new place to live.
Gotcha.
Pressure's on. We're working hard. I just enjoy working with kids still. It's a long road. 25 years is a long time.
It is. It really is.
And people don't know, you got to stay around, and I just can't. I'm starting to, wear thin. Things change. I enjoy my Eastern Florida gig. It's a totally different ball game. Recruiting is a big part of that. So we got good big plans this summer. I'm leaving in a couple weeks for Flagstaff, taking my son and 2 of my other top guys. We're going out to NAU, which is the hotbed of cross country.
Right.
They win nationals every year. So we're going out to NAU to hang out for 2 weeks. Then I'll come back for 2 days. I'll take 52 kids to Boone for a week.
That's always a good trip. I love looking at those.
Yeah.
How does that work, Coach? I mean, how do you coordinate that?
I have help. Brian Cheek, the coach at West Shore, is a big. He's going to probably take it over because next year will be my last year. I rent 4 large cabins in Boone. Organize the daily runs, and I've turned the food aspect over to one of the moms, and she's working with the West Shore parents. So I have some help there, but it's great for the kids because we have kids from different schools: Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, West Shore, Vero.
The food always looks great. The pasta night is my favorite.
Yeah, that goes back to a lady named Tammy Bassford. She had the Bassford triplets that ran for me and her son Nathaniel, and she organized everything. She was this really organized lady. She has a folder that has every day all the
Great to have
meals.
parents like that, isn't it?
Oh, phenomenal. And
It
so
is great.
they just pass that book down year to year, and so it works out great.
I'm going to come back to the Flagstaff thing because I have a question about climate and running coming up here with Eastern Florida State cross country coach Doug Butler and satellite cross country coach and track and field coach Doug Butler. Um, at Eastern Florida, 15th at national championships. That's a hell of a job for a first time. Named men's cross country Atlantic Region Coach of the Year. How were you able to find that much success in a first year program?
I had just a good luck with getting some great runners. You know, Dayton Law was a big catch for me. He was one of my satellite guys. He's a satellite school record holder in the 3200. He ran 903, so which is faster than elite guys like Gabe Montague and
Yeah.
Bill Wester and Josh Stern and Justin Wilson. So Dayton was really good. He was going to Eastern anyway, so I conned him into running for me. So he'll be a great NCAA athlete after he finishes this year. We're Division I.
Yeah.
JUCO. It's a little bit harder because a lot of the Iowa and Midwestern schools have Kenyan athletes. So I started the game late. I didn't get hired until February of last year. So most of the high school kids were already recruited.
Sure, I remember that. Yeah.
So it was really tough, especially on the girls' side. I could only get one girl, and so I had an older girls' team. This year, I'm really excited about our girls' team. I signed 8. I have 8 girls under scholarship this year. One of them returning, 7 new right out of high school. I have one Kenyan girl coming in. Hopefully,
Nice.
she gets her visa. Just texted with her last night, trying to get her visa interview in Kenya. One of her old coaches is a coach at Matanzas in St. Augustine.
Okay.
So he kept pressuring me to give her a shot. So
Yeah.
I'm giving her a shot. She's an elite runner.
You mentioned Gabe Montague, Furman. He was he's tearing it up there too. The SoCon Cross Country Freshman of the Year. He was all Southern Conference first team this year. All Southern Conference outdoor track. How's he doing?
He was injured this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he redshirted this year. He's actually back home now before he heads to Colorado, Texas and Colorado for a few weeks. He's been running phenomenal. He had a great end of track season, but he's still redshirted, so he ran some great workouts.
That's smart.
He was trying to break 4.
Yeah.
He's on the verge of breaking 4 for the mile. So.
That's outstanding, and of course we always loved talking with and covering Gabe. I want to go back to Flagstaff because I know that you run all over the country, and I know that you have run all over the country. It always intrigues me, you know, even up in Boone, because when you're it's culture shock to take those student athletes up there if they've never been up there for a first time. You know, I used to live in a little town called Maiden, which wasn't far from Boone, and the first thing you notice about going into Boone is, you know, when you think of cross country and running, that's as cross country as it gets up there. And so I'm curious how you run out west in the higher altitudes, what that does to your body and how you adjust or don't adjust.
Yeah, there's a fact that no NCAA school south of Arkansas has ever won the NCAA cross country championship.
Wow.
So if you drew a line across this United States, across Arkansas, no schools from south. And why is that? Because of the climate. It's too hot to train all summer to win nationals last week in November, first week in December at the NCAA level. So you're talking your NAUs and your Stanfords and your Oregons and your Syracuse and Michigan and Wisconsin.
Right.
They're all northern schools. They don't have the heat and humidity that we deal with in Florida. So to give the kids a chance to get out of that for a few weeks, like my 3 boys that I'm taking to Flagstaff, they'll have 3 weeks of the overnight low in Flagstaff's 48 right now for the next several days.
Yeah.
As far out as you can see, and the highs are like 75. So you can train harder. Your body's not trying to dissipate the heat as much. Obviously, at altitude like that, you're going to be slower.
Right.
But your body's going to also produce more red blood cells that carry oxygen. But we're not going out there for that benefit. You know, Just want to see some of the trails that NAU trains on. Our big competition is Bell and Jesuit
Yes.
out of Miami, and we can't beat Bell. And they're out there. They're that good. And I talked to Frankie, their coach, and he said, Doug, you got to do it. He takes his top 10 to 14 guys out there every year for about 3 weeks, and they train. They don't do a team camp with 50 kids like we do. I tried to get 5 or 6 of my guys to go. Hopefully next year I'll get all 5 or 6 of my top guys to go out there with me and hit it.
What coming up? Who coming back next season? I know you. What is the streak for the district cross country?
I think we've won district. We have won district all 8 years in a row that I've been.
All 8 years in a row. So who are the runners that we really need to focus on come August?
My son Alex will be one of my top guys. He had a great sophomore year this year. Logan Carr, another sophomore, had a great year this year. Both of those two boys ran 4:35 for the mile this year as sophomores. Kean Wilson, Justin Wilson's little brother, he ran 4:37, 8, 9,
Gotcha.
right around there this year as a freshman. Madison Cardy, his dad was the wrestling coach at Satellite for a long time, Mike Cardy. Madison ran 4:40 or 4:41 for the mile this year as a freshman. And those are my 4. And Hayden Delia, also a sophomore, who has as much talent as any of them. I just got to get Hayden to focus a little bit. And we'll have a really good front 5. And then we drop off a little bit. I have Tim Doolin coming back, who's a first-year cross-country guy. He was a track guy that ran sub-5 this year, first year in track. So
it always begins about the 3rd week in August at the Wickham Park Jamboree, and I just hope it's dry.
August 19th.
August 19th.
We're already saying, yeah.
We'll be there for that. We did that last year, and we did the conference championships last year, which was really fun. All right, so. What do you? Before we continue talking, I want to get your thought. Well, I'll save that for later. We'll jump into that now. So, Coach, a couple days ago, I had Coach Graves in, and I ran Coach Graves' interview, and I'm curious to get your take on this because I thought in the comment section of the interview that you wrote a fantastic reply to the interview, and I am curious to get your take. As one of the guys in this county that is considered to be the creme de la creme when it comes to cross country and track and field, and knowing these runners the way that you do, and just for those that don't know, I'm going to read the comment because I thought it was well said and well thought out. So I think it's important that I do that. So it says, I know Aiden and his parents are not going to comment here, so I'm going to add my 2 cents. Kieran, I think you're a great young man, but he made a mistake and should have just admitted that your emotions got the best of you and you made a mistake. Then you go on to explain the differences between the events, which I'm going to ask you about as well. He said, I can't imagine scratching my runner at the start of the race. I had a similar situation this year and handled it off the track. Aiden has been a total team player at Vieira for 4 years. He scored more points in one event than the Vieira boys sprinters did in all of their events. Sorry, but don't agree with what happened, and Aiden should have his story told as well. I agree. The floor is yours.
First of all, I'd never like to criticize another coach. We're all different.
Right, no, and I don't think that's criticism.
Yeah, and we all make mistakes.
Right.
I think he's a phenomenal young man.
Yep.
For him to leave coaching would be wrong. I mean, he's got a lot of great things to offer. But I have known Aiden since he was in middle school. He ran for me at Delora in 7th and 8th grade. And I know his parents, and he goes to camp with me. People that are comparing the 100, a girl running the 100 in the long jump and the 4x1, it's not even close to comparing to running an 800, a 1600, and a 3200 all in one day.
Right.
Aiden especially was the 1600. He was 4th at state last year in the 1600, and he did voice his opinion that he didn't want to run it. And I've never had a kid ever in 23 years do that triple. And I've had some pretty phenomenal runners, Kayla Hale and Gabe Montague.
Right.
Just a whole list of state champion kids I've had. That's just it's a brutal triple to try to do all those 3 events in a couple.
Because
hour
they're
time
only an hour apart, right?
period. Yeah, and you're talking the heat, humidity, the level of competition. It's tough, and so I wouldn't ask that of a kid. I wouldn't attempt it myself, and I'm a distance runner, and I was decent in my day, and I just wouldn't attempt it. So I wouldn't have handled it as he did. I just would have had words with Aiden aside from there, but to disqualify one of my runners at the start of a race, to me, that was pretty tough.
You know, we were asked. I was asked in an email why we decided to run the interview, to do the interview, and my response was because I thought that for all parties involved, I really thought it was listen, with what Karan, Coach Garrett's, and Aiden all went through, God bless them. I mean, it's a heat of the moment thing, right? So, but I thought it was a moment perhaps we all could learn from.
Right. You're not Fox or CNN.
Right.
You're going to tell both sides of the story.
That's exactly right. Right.
And something that those networks don't do. So I thought it was great that he got to say his piece.
Right.
And I just felt that somebody, because I know Aiden wouldn't come on here. I know
right.
His wouldn't come on here. So
I
just wanted people to know where Aiden, he's not a selfish, spoiled, like they're trying to shout him out to be. That's not Aiden. That's not.
Yeah,
Aiden.
no, and we don't want that for Aiden in any way, shape, or form, because he is a terrific runner. And where's he going to school?
Butler.
Butler, yeah,
Butler
University, yeah. So congratulations to Aiden and Coach. I thank you for that comment and for coming on and sharing that other side of the equation. And look,
it's tough.
It's what makes the world go round.
Yeah, and being in Karan's shoes, it is tough. I mean, you do have parental issues and your emotions. He's a competitive guy. Karan's a very competitive
yes,
guy.
he is. He was a hell of an athlete.
And so when you're that competitive, it's tough. It's very tough to not act on emotions and to just sit back and say, okay.
I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked him about not this particular situation, but parents. And over your 24 years, what do you think, obviously, them becoming more involved in the way that, I don't know, Coach, I guess the way that we have changed raising children. Obviously, we didn't raise our kids the way we were raised, vice versa. I mean, that's just the way it is today. You can't go back and change it. But there are a lot of instances that you're seeing more and more of where parents are having a direct impact on the ability of a program to operate as it should. How have you navigated that through the years, and what ideas do you have to navigate in the future?
Yeah, I can't imagine my mom calling my coach or my athletic director. I would have not been able to go back to school, but parents don't. Some just don't hesitate to do that today. Freddie Goins at Rockledge is a classic. He doesn't tolerate any BS. I mean, you sign up for the team, that's it. You're part of the program, and the parents don't have a say, and there are other places to go run. And so I'm kind of that way. I do get short with parents today compared to what I did 23 years ago.
Sure.
So my parents that are watching this, just know that it's been 23 years of
same thing.
Because my parents in the beginning in 2000, they didn't do it. They dropped their kids off at practice, and that was it.
Yeah.
I made all the decisions, and so most of my parents are great right now. I really can't complain, but I do know that if you do something that they're not agree with, they're going to go to the admin, and then I don't really even care anymore. They can go to the admin. I'm at that point where I think my record speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
Okay? And so I've had great support from Coach Gowdy. Has my back.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I spoke with the coach that's no longer there who just absolutely loves Coach Gowdy and just a coach's coach, if you will, if you know what I mean by that, like a player's coach. He's a coach's coach.
Well, his dad's been a friend. And I used to watch Mike's basketball teams play all the time back when Elizabeth Sorensen and his daughter Lee and all them were on the team. And so Mike kind of pressures him, I think, to leave me alone.
Yeah.
His dad would disown him.
24 state championships will buy you a little of that. Should anyway.
Yeah, a little
You
bit,
know.
yeah.
Here with Doug Butler. And, all right, so that pretty much covers the track and field side of the equation. Boy, you hit the nail, or the cross-country side of the equation, in distance running. Ben, you hit the nail on the head this year. I mean, there wasn't you called the sprinters again. I mean, right down the line.
Was it?
I mean, it was incredible what you did. And I tell you what, I'm proud of those girls over there at Rockledge and Cocoa because they're, Leanna Tyson is getting ready to pick her college. We had a young lady commit to USF from Rockledge. I mean, it is phenomenal how fast they're running.
Well, because they're out there working right now.
Yes.
And I try to get my kids at Satellite to see that. I'm like, go over to the Rockledge track. Their summer camp, they're running right now. They're not waiting till January to start.
Right.
And, champions are made in the off season. So I've always told my kids, somebody may have more talent than you, but there's never an excuse for anybody to outwork you. So my kids were a little lazy. I went on a cruise right after the day after school ended, and mine were lazy the week I was gone. So
Yeah.
I wasn't real happy with the.
What'd you think of Coach Scarby finally stepping down?
I got that by complete shock.
Yeah, it shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, I was like, Beth. And so she's done coaching as well?
Yeah,
Wow, that's a big loss to the county.
it is.
She's just.
It's like 6 degrees of separation with her, right? Like Kevin Bacon, right? Kevin Bacon acted in Footloose, and from there, it's like you could reach across 6 movies and find someone in every movie that's acted with Kevin Bacon. For Coach Scarby, somebody's been coached by her, taught by her, knows her. It's wild.
Yeah, phenomenal. Great lady. Great. Just watching her act with her kids, she's just been phenomenal. So, yeah, that leaves a big void.
And she was one of those coaches, much like yourself, that was firm but fair,
Yep.
in the process. And she did it for 43. I don't know how she did it for 43 years, but she did it for 43 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's incredible. Absolutely
She started
incredible.
coaching when she was 8 then.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah. There
You
you,
gotta
go,
agree, Alan,
Coach.
right,
There
Beth?
you go, right. Look, you caught me on that one. You got me there, Coach. You got me on that one. You're with Doug Butler. All right, let's have some fun. As of this recording, yesterday, Lionel, depends upon, well, right, well,
Yeah.
I was going to say it depends upon what sports station you're listening to. The really important ones that think they're important are calling him Lionel, and the others are calling him Lionel. Messi, yesterday, signs a deal in which he pretty much owns the MLS now, at least the Apple portion, the Apple TV portion of it. How big of an impact? I mean, you are an Orlando City guy. You got season tickets, great seats. You love the sport. Your son plays it. How big of an impact is this for not just the MLS, but for soccer in this country?
Oh, it's huge to have the number one. Probably, I mean, you could argue it all day, but he's the greatest to ever play the game.
Right.
I mean, he's done it all, and he's still doing it at 35. 19 years.
He was amazing in the
professional
World
soccer.
Cup.
Yeah. So, my son Kyle, who's a ROTC instructor at Embry-Riddle, he got season tickets the very first year that Orlando got a team. So we've had the tickets since then.
Right.
Our 2 seats. And so when he got shipped out before, we kept the tickets, just kept doing it. So now we have 4. He's a part of the ILF fan supporter section. Him and
That's a fun section.
yeah, him and Alex, my 2 youngest, and he is on one of the stanchions half the time leading the
Yeah.
stuff, and except the time that he was cussing out Ohio, when, and all my relatives are in Ohio, so but that cost him part of the will. But Messi, it'll sell out every game. Every game Miami's at will sell out. I jokingly said $2K for my season tickets for the Miami game. Let's see what.
Well,
what
I
happens
don't
here.
know that, here, according to Vivid Seats yesterday, Coach, Inter Miami's July 21st home game against Cruz Azul is the biggest price spike, one of the biggest price spikes in the ticket industry history. The average ticket price for that game has increased 205% over the past 4 days, and that was just simply based on the possibility Messi would come. On Sunday, the best ticket in the house down at Drive Pink Stadium, or DRV, I call it Drive Pink, DRV Pink Stadium, PNK Stadium, was $122. Yesterday, that ticket was $373. Now, that doesn't include what it's going for on the streets, right? That place only holds 18,000 people.
I was there 2 weeks ago.
It's not, I mean, it's a nice place, but it doesn't seem to me.
It's a high school stadium.
Right. I mean, Coco played the high school football championship there.
Did they really?
Yes.
Because we took our fan bus. We're part of the ILF fan club.
Right.
And we took our fan bus down there to watch Orlando spank them a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And it's a nice hated rivalry.
Yeah.
But we had almost as many fans there as they did. I bet we had 400 people, and they didn't have much more. So
that's going to change.
It's going to change
real
quick.
It's going to go from 800 or 8,000 to 18,000 in the blink of an eye. And I think the unique thing about this is he's going to play for Beckham. Even Beckham coming to the Galaxy when he did wasn't as big. I remember I was 6 years old when this happened. Is this bigger than when Pele came to New Jersey? Is it?
It is.
Yeah, I think so, too.
It is. The state of I mean, you talk the Copa Cup, the World Cup, all that coming, and he'll be here to play. I mean,
it's a smart move for
he
him.
already owns a house in Miami.
Yeah.
It's MLS merchandise. Everything's just going to.
Did you hear the amount of money that he turned down from the Saudis?
I heard it
$1.3 billion for 3 years.
I love that.
That's incredible.
I think it's incredible. I'm with Roy McIlroy.
Yeah, go play golf.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's play for the love of the sport.
Right.
And take your Saudi money.
That's right. Get out.
And
what'd you think of that merger, huh? Boy, Pete, you want to talk about backtracking?
Yeah.
PGA Tour's in a little trouble.
Yeah. So I'm with Jack and Rory on this one.
I'm with you. I hear you.
We've gotten away from the love of the game.
I agree. The Forbes magazine did a story, and I thought this was funny. The 7 highest paid golfers in the world were all on the LIV Tour. Now, 2 years ago, they wouldn't have been in the top. Well, I think 4 of them wouldn't have been in the top 100 of highest paid golfers. And it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. If that wasn't a cash grab, then nothing is. And it'll be interesting to see how they make it up to the guys that stayed loyal to the PGA. Because if I'm Tiger Woods and I turn down $800 million, you're going to have to come to a happy medium for me.
Yeah.
You know? Roy McIlroy. I stayed firm. And what I went through mentally, physically.
And the public abuse I've been taking for
it changed my game.
Yeah.
You owe me.
Yeah.
You know. Here with Doug Butler, going to be finishing up. How are your Steelers looking this year? Are you happy with them?
I think Pickett another year. I think he'll be okay. I didn't see any phenomenal picks we got. We've got a couple key defensive players.
You're solid, Joe. How much longer is Tomlin going to be the coach there?
I think he'll coach there as long as he keeps making playoffs.
Yeah.
You know. I like the guy.
I love Tomlin. You know, I love the way he speaks.
He's a player's coach, and
he's the best I've ever seen at doing a 20-minute press conference, motivating you. But he said absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't spit on you. He doesn't spit on you like Bill Cowher did.
No, no. Yeah, it's not flying. Right.
So
absolutely, well, Coach. I tell you what. Congratulations on a great career. Obviously, we'll be out there. And I got to tell you, we found our niche finally. It only took us to the Cape Coast Conference Championship to find it 3 years after we started putting a camera on it. But we finally found our niche in covering track and field from the press box.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's where FL runners, they all
that's where we're going to be from now on. Instead of, having Caleb run around the track with the camera.
He was starting to lose weight. I noticed. I was getting concerned about him.
But I tell you, I always appreciate you coming over. And, again, I appreciate your input on the Vieira situation. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Always great to have Coach Butler in studio. Of course, Coach, the cross-country men's and women's, right? Men's and women's at Eastern Florida State.
Yeah, men's and women's at Satellite.
Satellite and track and field. I tell you what, final year coming up, huh?
Well, 2 more. This is
okay. So 2 more.
May 2025.
I got you. Okay, so May 2025. We'll have a big party planned for
That's
them.
what. It'd be nice.
I know. I certainly appreciate it and want to thank Caleb for producing this. So for Coach Doug Butler. I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski. The summer series of interviews. And if you'd like to sit right where Coach Butler is, send us a message. We'd be happy to have you in. We'll see you next time right here on the Brevard Sports Network.